refreshed the diversity, equity, and inclusion strategy at Barclays just earlier this year. And as part of that, we added the language of equity in the way we talk about the work and our team. It's really an acknowledgement of a really simple idea that people don't all start in the same place. And it's important to us that we are conscious of that. We meet people where they are and we provide the targeted focused support for their development, their progress that enables them to be at their very best. We talk often about this idea of a level playing field. The realization, like many that we've come to, is that not everyone actually is at the same starting line. And so we've got to be intentional about the way that we meet people where they are, understanding lived experiences, challenges, experiences, points of view that we can support and shape and enable them, again, to be at their very best. The work of diversity, equity, and inclusion often feels a bit like pushing a very large rock up a hill. And the reason I say that is there is always inertia. Everything that we do is really framed by the idea of change. It's born out of a discontent with the status quo, and that just means we're working against human nature in almost every way and trying to create the outcomes that we are seeking. And so that means for me, in my role and in the way that my team and I think about this work, there's at least 2 or 3 key traits that we think matter most. One is resilience. Pushing that large rock up the hill is difficult and sometimes tiring. And many people who work in this space recognize the emotional ups and downs of the things that we have to work through, whether they're events in the world around us or the challenges even within our own organization. So that resilience really does matter a lot. I have a personal belief and commitment to the idea that the work has to be underpinned by real data. We have to really understand where we are, where there are gaps, and then with very clear intention, what it is that we must do about it. And then maybe the third element here that I'd highlight is a real commitment to transparency. It's been a struggle in lots of companies, lots of industries. People don't always like to share the data, the outputs, the consequence that they see in this space. My belief is that the only way to really fully engage the entirety of a workforce, of an organization, of leadership, is to arm and equip everyone with really clear knowledge and insight about where we are, where there are gaps, and why we've got to be determined to work together to close them.
Yes, intersectionality has been a core pillar of Barclays' work around diversity, equity, and inclusion for some time, and indeed reflects the work of DIAL, because it really accommodates the many facets that every individual has, and that intersectional relationship across our DEI agendas has underpinned all of the work that we've done in this space. And we've built our strategy for many years on 5 diversity agendas. And those 5 agendas are gender, LGBT+, disability, multi-generational, and multicultural. But we've realized that there was something missing. And so in the refresh of our strategy very recently, we've made sure that socioeconomic inclusion is now one of those core agendas. And I think socioeconomic inclusion really reflects the importance of intersectionality, and is one of the most important reasons that we've now embraced this. So we no longer talk about 5 DEI agendas, we talk about 6. And most importantly, we look at the intersectionality across those agendas, reflecting the many facets of our colleagues and indeed the customers that we serve. Well, we are lucky that it is an agenda and a function that we've had within the business for some years. However, I think we're always learning, and we're looking to really expand the maturity model of diversity, equity, and inclusion at Barclays, and making sure that we take this to new depths. So it's not enough just to talk about it, it's not enough just to build awareness. What we really want to see is DEI embedded within the business. And I think it's that embedment that is a mark of maturity of how an organization really looks at diversity, equity, and inclusion. And with that, it's really driving that element of intersectionality. And we're really seeing that through our employee resource groups, who are building up a strong sense of collaboration. When one focuses on one issue, they bring the others into play. And we're seeing that through our colleagues as well, feeling really respected, that we're looking at them bringing their whole selves to work and not just focusing on one aspect of D&I. I think the introduction of equity, recognizing that not everyone starts from the same place, is a huge illustration of that maturity. And that's what we want to see, the embedment of equity, the embedment of DEI across the business, and real ownership and accountability at all levels of our colleagues, including our senior leaders.